you guys. Just pulled up to my brother's house, picking him up. We're going to put up some trail cameras in southern Iowa. Gonna get ahead of the game here and find some big boys. There's the man with the plan. Go get some cameras hung, bud.
You know it.
My brother Kevin just jumping in.
Rock on, fellas.
Going to hit up some public land, leaving Friday afternoon. It's like June 18th right now. And if you want to kill a big buck on public, you need to find a big buck on the public. So you ain't gonna kill a big one if they ain't in there, you guys. So this is where we get ahead of the game. We get to the properties, hang some cameras, see if there's anything good in them. If there's not, we move on to another piece. There's plenty of public land in Iowa here. Ended up shooting both my bucks in North Iowa last year, but had opportunities in southern Iowa as well. So the buck that I happened to kill with my muzzleloader last year, my brother here had pictures of him on his camera. It was the biggest buck he had on his camera last year. So the buck I shot with my bow in North Iowa, we didn't have any pictures of him, but we do a lot of driving around in the afternoons during the summer, late June, July, August. We got video of that buck that I shot with my bow, and he came in during the rut, put him down. So this is where it all starts, you guys. We will get back with you. We're going to hit the road here. We got about a 3.5, almost 4-hour drive south, going almost to the Missouri border. So stay tuned. We'll get back with you here in a little bit. Ow! Alright, you guys. I made it back in here to one of my camera locations. And I'm actually in a spot where I like to hunt. Right behind the camera over here, I got a nice little pond it's secluded. And it's been super dry at the beginning of this summer. We're at June the 18th right now. And we haven't gotten hardly any rain since the beginning of May, and I kind of figured that there would be water in this pond still, and I got back in here. It's about a mile hike to get back in here, and sure enough, I still got water in this pond behind me. So I got my camera number 1 set up in this piece of public. I got it right on this tree behind me over here. You can see it in the video, and I'll kind of show you guys this. I got 3 big steep ridges that come down, and it bottoms out in this little flat. And then it'd be just to the east of me, I have a river that runs through there. So the river's super low, but I figure these deer are gonna come down off these ridges, maybe hit this pond, maybe head over towards the river. On the other side of the river, there's a bunch of crop and ag fields. So yeah, hot today, you guys. It's like 88 degrees, just super humid. But we're out here, we're getting it done, trying to find my next culprit that I want to shoot this fall. So this is one way to kind of get ahead of the game. And you know, you got to know that there's big bucks in the area if you want a chance at a big buck. So we're gonna put out a bunch of cameras. I got 5 with me in the bag here today, and this is camera number 1. I am probably gonna put a couple on the edge of this river, kind of when I circle up on out of here. I'm gonna find a couple of good crossings across the river, and I think I might put at least 1, maybe 2 cameras on the river. I'm gonna pop up out of the river and get into some ag fields that are on the public. And I actually like to put my cameras on the edges of fields right now. It's real iffy, public land. A lot of times my cameras get stolen. I try to re-up my cameras more so versus what's getting stolen. So if 2 get stolen, I try to buy 4 and just try to always keep getting more and more cameras. But I just love putting cameras out on field edges right now. It seems to be like the main spot that you're going to get pictures of these velvet bucks. So whether it's a alfalfa field, edge of a corn field, or a bean field, those are key right now, you guys. I tend to kind of keep them off of the edges of cornfields because usually you don't have much room in between the timber and where the corn row starts. It's a lot easier to get them on alfalfa fields or bean fields. Them are my two favorite locations for cameras on public land. And all you can really do is lock them up, do what you can to keep them from getting stolen, and cross your fingers that they're there when you come back. So I'll kind of show you guys this pond here behind me real quick. As you can see, the camera on the tree there up behind me, and it pretty much faces right towards this pond. And if you guys watched my 2020 bow hunt on my channel, Public Land Giants, you're gonna see that the one buck that I passed, that 9-pointer, came from the river behind me, walked right under my stand, got a drink out of the pond, and then continued up to these ridges I was talking to you guys about. That was an early morning hunt. That was like the 17th of October or so. And yeah, so in the morning they come from the ag fields behind me and they go bed up in these ridges. In the afternoon they come out of these ridges and go to the ag fields behind me. So just a little look at what it looks like around my stand. Of course, it looks a lot different in the fall when I'm hunting it, especially during the rut. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna head down to the river, see if I can find a couple of good trails that cross the river and get some more of these cams up. Want to get out of here in time to maybe do some gravel traveling around this piece of public before it gets dark and see what we can see from the road. So, all right, you guys, there's camera number 1. Stay tuned for more. All right, you guys, I want to thank you for watching Public Land Giants. I just made it to my second camera location. As you can see, I am pretty much drenched. And I take that back, it's not my second, it's actually my third camera location. I got one down on the river like I said I was going to. I didn't film it because I was on a steep embankment where the deer were coming down, and there was a little bit of a flat on a sandbar, and it was like the deer were congregating on that sandbar, getting a drink right there, and then they were crossing the river and going into them ag fields that I was telling you guys about. So that was camera number 2. I got a deer in the field right now. I'm actually at camera spot number 3, and I'm in a bean field, and I just got my number 3 camera hung up. And I got a deer in the field over here. I'll show you guys if it doesn't take off. Right on the edge of the field over there. I don't know what it is. Yep, looks like a pretty good sized doe. There she goes. Going exactly the direction that I gotta go to get out of here. That's okay. So this is the bean field right here. My camera's on. I'm chancing it. I love putting my cameras on the edges of bean fields during the summer. And the cameras tend to do okay without getting stolen until you get closer to August. And that seems to be when a lot of people start hitting these fields, whether they're putting their cameras out or what they're doing, I don't know. But I usually do pretty good through the month of June and July without getting them stolen. But anyway, there's my camera right there. Right on this edge of this bean field. I had a camera in this location last year, and I got a picture of a couple of nice bucks, but one of them we ended up calling Kickstand, and he is a magnificent buck. Called him Kickstand because he was a mainframe 10-point. He had a split G3, and he had a third main beam. And off of his third main beam, he had a drop tine and then a drop tine off of his drop tine. I mean, you guys would have to literally see this buck to believe it. I never did see this buck during the hunting season. Oh, there's my brother, just snuck up on me. That's probably why that deer took off. I didn't even know he was in the field. So yeah, if I can find a picture of that buck, I will get it posted and show you guys. I'm hoping that he shows back up. I had a picture of him in velvet one night, and that was it. Other than when I checked my camera back in by that pond. I think he was on that camera in November, but I'm not sure because there was no third main beam on the buck. But the 10-pointer had a split G3. And I'm pretty sure that it was him and he just broke off that third main beam. But that was in November. So hopefully he made it through the shotgun seasons and late muzzleloader season. But this is a camera that I got his picture on last year. Like I said, if I can get this camera to stay here without getting stolen, it's kind of chancing it on these edges of these fields, but I love these cameras. So, well, my brother found me, and we've been in here for just about 2 hours now, and all my cameras are out. We're looking to get out of here, go get something to drink. It is hot, and we want to cruise some gravel roads around this piece of public and do the rest of our scouting for the night from the gravel. I got my spot and scope with me, and I got more cameras. We're headed to a different location tomorrow morning, try to get out early when it's nice and cool. So if I get some good bucks tonight on the spot and scope and the camera, I will show you guys that. But for now, thanks for tuning in to Public Land Giants.
Let's go find some giants.
Later. On, you guys, T-Killa again here. My brother and I still out putting cameras up. We are at our next location, and last night after putting cameras up, we saved ourselves about an hour and a half to do some driving around and just scouting around this piece of public here in south central Iowa. And last night we happened to cruise down this gravel road. Show them this road here, Kev. Kind of comes down into this bottom, and you come through that gap and you come right into this parking lot that we're in. And we pulled into this parking lot last night, and we had a group of about 5 deer out here, 2 small bucks and a couple of does. But then as we sat here, we looked all the way across the field, and you can see that gap of trees out there. That's a good close to 1,000 yards away or so, and we glassed over there and we saw a couple of deer, and one of them was a really nice buck. And they didn't like us pulling into this parking lot. We didn't get a lot of time to look at them, but as soon as we pulled in and we saw those deer after looking at these ones, we spotted those ones and they took off and they went right through the gap of the trees. So there's a couple other deer on the edge over there as well that look like a couple of does, but that one buck looked really nice. Nonetheless, there's a lot of deer down in this bottom bean field. Got 2 cameras in this spot. I think I'm gonna put one in that gap over there, but then I'll probably put another one on the field edge over there somewhere as well. So we're gonna head over there right now, get a couple more cameras put up. This will be, I know we haven't filmed all of our cameras that we put up so far, but this will be number 11 and number 12 cameras in this piece of public. That's about I think it's a little over 3,000 acres, this piece of public. So awesome spot, you guys. So stay tuned. We're gonna go get these put up. Thanks for watching Public Land Giants. Alright, you guys, made it to this gap in between these 2 trees I was just telling you about. We didn't know it at the time, but it turns out this gap that that came through these trees actually leads over to another bean field. You want to show them that, Kev. So it's a perfect spot, perfect little funnel to catch them going from one field to the next. You can see the car way over there. Should be a perfect location. I got really high hopes for this spot. I'm catching a big public land giant coming through this gap from one field to the next. So there was a lot of good sign right in here as we walked in. So I found the perfect tree. I'm going to kind of face it in the direction of this field out here. So anything that comes through this gap, hopefully it gets a picture of that deer, and then maybe whatever other deer are in the background already out in the field that could have possibly entered the field from a different spot. So let's get this hung, move on to our next spot.